Hey folks, Britt Bolnick here, helping women to create greater impact and income while you minimize your time working, ideally less than a 30-hour work week. We had a question from a viewer that I really wanted to address, and this was back when I was talking about being opening to receiving, and this was a couple, maybe last week when I did the video on what my hot date taught me about being open to receiving. And we had a viewer write in and ask if I could answer the question. I have a request for your next topic. How do you sort through balancing receiving with families and friends and family who are your clients? I feel like they either shouldn't pay or should get a really good discount or get extras because there have to be perks. But my view on the thing is so skewed, I've lost sanity. So I thought that this was a really great question, and I wanted to answer it because I think that as I said in the video last week, and if you didn't see the video on, I think it was like what my hot date taught me about my business or something like that. The words hot date were in it. So go look for that one. But the thing is that most of the women that I work with are either healers or empaths or are really giving. And that's one of the reasons why we do the work that we do. The problem is that we get so caught up in giving that we tend to overgive. We tend to overgive. We tend to undercharge. And sometimes it's just really hard to either figure out a price. That's one of the things that women do in my programs is we talk about like what their price points are, what makes sense, how to know when to raise your prices, how to ask for the value of what you want to receive. Those are all real stumbling blocks for a lot of folks who have small businesses or are entrepreneurs. And when you're dealing with friends or family, it can sometimes feel even more tempting to overgive or really hard to ask for the value of what you want to be receiving. And I think that this is really something that's important to recognize because, first of all, if you recognize that this is going to feel hard, you can go into the situation a different way. So if a friend or a family member asks you for your services or wants to buy something from you, you can take a second to step back and just say, something like, absolutely, let me look at my calendar. Just do whatever you need to do to take a step back and think about it. And then really think about what you want to do for them to acknowledge the special relationship that they have so that you're not answering them in the moment, just off the top of your head, which is how most of us get stuck in really undercharging and overgiving. One of the things that I want to remind you is that someone who really loves you wants to support you, right? So I want to pay top dollar for my friends. I want to support them. I would never ask for a discount for something that someone that I loved was doing, ever, ever, ever. I would want to pay them full price. I'd want to shout out their work. So remember that if it really is a family or friend a family member or friend who loves and supports you, they should be bending over backwards to support you. They should not be asking for deep discounts and, for you to bend over backwards. They should be respecting the boundaries of the fact that this is your livelihood. So I want you to watch out for the folks who aren't respecting that. And maybe they're not your ideal client. Maybe you can say, whatever. I don't have any openings right now. That's not what I do. Here's someone I can refer you to, but don't work with people who don't really, really respect and love and support you and want to pay full price for what you do. That being said, you can always offer some sort of bonus or perk. What I really discourage my clients from doing is discounting their work. Generally, my clients are not charging enough as it is. They're not charging the full value of the transformation or service that they're providing, which is one of the reasons why I discourage discounts. What you can do is add something special. So for instance, if I don't do one-off sessions, but if I did one-off sessions and someone that I really loved wanted coaching from me, again, not a common scenario, I might say something like, well, it's this amount for an hour, but I'd really love to acknowledge our relationship and, do a 90-minute session for you instead. Or I'd really love to acknowledge our relationship. So I'd like to also throw in a couple of recordings that I have that I know are really going to help you, or, things that won't cost me necessarily much more time or energy, but that will really increase the value of what they're giving. And again, that should be out of the goodness of my heart, not because they're asking me, what can you do for me? Will you discount this? Will you give me more? Any of those questions are red flags. They're red flags that this person does not fully support or respect what you're doing and the value of it. So I don't remember anymore who asked that. Did I write it down? Oh, Lillian, this is for Lillian. I hope that this helps Lillian, and please, I'm gonna have some more coffee. Glug, glug, glug. But Lillian, please come back to me if you want more clarification. I just really want you to remember that the people that are around you should be loving and supporting and respecting your work. They should not, and for them to be asking for deep discounts or expecting them is kind of a check engine light. The only time that this is making me think of something that I'm going to say is an exception, but back when I used to be in the restaurant and bar industry and nightclub industry, we would do things for each other that weren't necessarily coming out of our pocket. Like if I went to a bar where a friend worked, there'd be free drinks. And that's kind of like something that is assumed in the culture. If you go to a friend's restaurant, they will probably send over like a complimentary dish or something. That's very different from people coming and saying, I know you do this. Can you give me a cheap rate? It's very different. So I just wanted to clarify that. Be wary of people who are asking you to deeply discount your services or to discount them at all. Because from my experience, the women that I'm working with in general should be charging more for the transformation that they provide. So really focusing on your own self-worth and making sure that you're standing strong and really firmly in the value of what you offer is my answer. So leave a question below. If you have one, let me know your thoughts. Pamela, you said interesting. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about this and what your take is on it. We're doing 30 videos in 30 days, mostly just because I missed talking to you guys every day. And if you've probably seen me talking about the magic of bending time, 30 days for exponential wealth. There is a 30-day program coming up around the corner. Get in touch with me if you want more information on it. I'm super excited about it. Talk about standing in your value. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.